Hi there, folks. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson, and I'm pleased that you joined us this morning on DocTalk. We're going to be talking about transporting cattle, everything from loading and unloading to things that could happen during the transport period. Should be a great show, and I'm glad that you joined us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
DocTalk, brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick. In Wamego, just a short drive down the yellow brick road.
Folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University. And today I don't have a guest, but we'll be talking about something that's a passion of mine and something that occurs on a day-to-day basis here in the beef industry, and that's transporting our cattle. And the first thing that when we start to talk about transporting cattle is to pick out the ones that are fit for transport. And more of an issue is making sure that we don't ship the wrong ones than it is making sure that we ship the right ones. So some of the things that I have a list here that we'll go through today, and we'll have some illustrations of how these occur or things. But the first thing is we want to make sure that we don't ship a sick, injured, or weak or fatigued animal. So we're going to look at the cattle. Basically, if they're sick or injured, these animals that don't look fit or don't look like they could complete the ride, these are animals we want to make sure that we don't put on the trailer to ship town or ship the sale barn or ship anywhere for that. The next one is one that's kind of a no-brainer, but it bears reminding is non-ambulatory cattle. And again, shipping non-ambulatory cattle is not only something that's an issue that we want to make sure we don't put those animals on the truck, but can be a liability issue and an issue with the law. Non-ambulatory cattle, when they are moved, they cannot be drugged. They cannot be lifted with chains. These animals have to be moved with a sled or the bucket of a loader. So these types of animals definitely cannot be transported, and any animal that looks like it may go down during transport shouldn't be put on there. Animals that are blind, when they have pink eye or cattle that have problems seeing, these animals need special accommodations. We definitely don't want to be putting them on a load with cattle that can see because they don't know their way around. So special accommodations for those types of animals. And then we get into the kind of pregnancy, newborn calf type status. And so newborn calves within the first 48 hours, cows that are projected to calve or in the last 10% time of their gestation period, these animals shouldn't be placed on a truck because the stress could trigger parturition. The animal could go into calving on the truck, and we don't want that to happen. Another one that we want to make sure of is that females that have just given birth or that are fatigued, these animals can go into a stress type situation, they can go into tremors, and they can go down on the truck. And then two other classes of animals, definitely don't want to ship any animal that's prolapsed or uterus. These are extremely heavy, and during transport these can depart from the body, and when they do, the animals then hemorrhage. So don't ship those uterine prolapses in the truck. And then the last one is just general animals in general poor animal welfare condition. And the best way to judge that is through body condition score, whether it's a beef cow or a dairy cow. We want to make sure that we aren't shipping those animals that are too thin and too fatigued. When we come back from the break, we're going to continue our discussion, and we're going to move to the loadout and unloading area. You're watching DocTalk. We're glad that you joined us, and we'll be back in a minute.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Turn to a Central National Bank Ag Professional. You'll be in good company. They'll help you track expense lines, manage variable input costs, assess ground agreements, pick a crop protection plan. These times demand ag professionals. Central National Bank. You could profit from what they know. Ag operations run better on Central Time.
Central National Bank. Money for life.
Member FDIC in your hometown since 1884.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
DocTalk, brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Hey there, folks. Welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, and I'm glad that you joined us today. And I don't have a guest as I usually do, and today I'm going to cover a topic on my own. We're talking about transporting cattle, and it's something that's a very important topic in our country. It's important globally because cattle are transported numerous places day to day, whether we're shipping them from the ranch to the feedlot or ranch to the auction market to the feedlot or from the feedlot to the slaughter facility. Animals are transported short, medium, and long distances multiple times during their life during all segments of our industry. And they say that 50% of the stress at transport occurs at the time of loading. So whatever we can do to reduce that stress at the time of loading or unloading is vitally important to the stress level of the calf throughout the entire transport process. So the first thing that I look at is a combination to get to low stress cattle handling. And there's two things that are major stepping stones or things that I look at. And the first one is facilities. And do we have proper facilities for the movement of cattle, whether it's the lead-up alley, whether it's the crowding tub or the bud box, and then the loading chute. All these things need to be inspected. And if you go to the Beef Quality Assurance, and they have a transportation beef quality assurance at www.bqa.com, you can see different things for inspection of facilities. But the first thing I'll do with the inspection of a facility is I'll just walk backwards through it. I'll jump up in the loading chute, and I'm going to walk down that loading chute, and I'm going to inspect that loading chute for holes or cracks or crevices. I'm also going to make sure that we have proper footing as we're coming down. Sometimes if we have a wooden facility, boards get broken. If we have a metal facility, we can get pieces of metal that have rusted and make sure that we don't have places that are protruding to make sure that we don't have animals that are injuring their hooves or stepping through the facility and degloving coming out, or slipping and falling. All these things are something we need to understand. The next one is the landing area, or the area where the cattle first come out, and making sure that we have that area cleaned out, we don't have manure buildup, that we have the manure moved out so it's not slick. I'll then look at, are we using a bud box facility or a Temple Grandin type tub facility? Both facilities work fine. We just need to make sure that these facilities have working gates and that they're properly set up. And then lastly, I'll look at the lead-up alley. One of the things when you back up to the loadout chute, and if you're going to move a lot of cattle through a loadout chute, is we'll put flexible doors that can move to where the person that's backing up backs up the trailer. One of the things that I see as a problem is when people back up to a loadout chute and we don't back up square. Not only does it cause cattle to balk when they get to the top of the chute or when we're unloading, but cattle can catch their shoulders on there and cause injury and lameness. So inspection of facilities, making sure we have the ability to back up square to the facility, are all things that what we want to do. When we come back from the break, we're going to move on to the trailer. We're going to do some trailer inspection and talk about that. You're watching DocTalk, and we're really glad that you joined us.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Hey there folks, Dr. Dan from K-State. Are you BQA certified? Well, if you're involved with the beef industry and you're not BQA certified, you should be. And today, you can do it free online from the comfort of your computer or mobile device. Go to the website listed below, bivi-bqa.com. Sponsored by Boehringer Ingelheim Vet Medica and the Beef Quality Assurance Program at the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Today through October 31st is your time to get BQA certified.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
This tip brought to you by Batril 100 Enrofloxacin Injectable. The only enrofloxacin labeled for single-dose administration in cattle is also the only enrofloxacin labeled for control of BRD in high-risk cattle. Batril 100, right the first time, whether it's controlling BRD in high-risk cattle or treating BRD.
I'm Dr. Nels Lindberg with Animal Medical Center and Production Animal Consultation. For today's tip, we're going to talk about proper vaccine storage and proper vaccine handling. It's very important that we store our vaccine in a refrigerator that you monitor the temperature on, such as this. We have a thermometer in the fridge where we can actually monitor it. You'll be surprised at how refrigerators can fluctuate up and down and get outside of that normal storage range. Also, when you're shoot side, we want to make sure and store our vaccine in a cooler, and we don't want to mix up any vaccine until we're ready to use it. The longer this vaccine's mixed up, the more it degrades over time. So preferably we get vaccine used up within 30 minutes to an hour. It's also very important that when we mix up our vaccine that we use a properly stored transfer needle, one that's clean and stored well. This makes for a handy storage case to store your transfer needle. Make sure it's always clean and taken care of and stored properly. That's all we have for today.
This is the fast track to more jobs and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here, now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
DocTalk, brought to you by
The Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Hi there folks, and welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University. And I'm flying this thing solo today, as it'd be different than what you tune in most of the time and see me with a guest. And it's not that I think that nobody else can handle this subject. It's just that it's one of those that I am directly involved with, and one of those that lends itself to spending a little time with y'all today and talking about this. But we're talking about transporting cattle. And when we talk about transportation of cattle, I think everybody understands how cattle are shipped not only around the country, but now globally. When we have cattle that are being shipped, live animal exports, and also cattle across state lines within the United States. And not only is it important that these animals be shipped safely, but it's important that we do it to improve health as well. So when a lot of cattle, though, are shipped locally, and I can remember working in my dad and grandfather's veterinary clinic, and going back to the early 70s and thinking about the way that we have changed in transportation of cattle locally. I can still remember when we would just place the stock racks on the pickup and put a 2,000-pound bull in there and drive him to the clinic, and you took off the wooden back beat him down the loading chute to unload bulls. And so when you'd see Lee Routh or people from back home driving down the road and their truck is shaking and moving like that, and they'd have a bull or a cow or something in there, and now we have these long goosenecks and we have these 3/4 ton pickups that can pull about anything. So we've really changed and progressed in the equipment that we have to move cattle with. But when we inspect a trailer, the number one thing first thing you want to inspect is you want to get up in the trailer and you want to look at the flooring. And we want to make sure that we have the entire floor covered, no holes where the animal could have a protruding limb. And then the other one is look at boards, or if it's metal, we'll look for rust. But if it's a wooden floor with planks and something in there, we want to make sure that all the boards are square, that they're tight, and that we don't have loose boards or the possibility for a problem there. Another thing that's important, of course, when we're moving is that we have doors that function properly. And sometimes this is for animal safety, but a lot of time this is for human safety as well. And making sure that you're back away from those doors when you shut these doors and having the proper loading facility will really improve human safety when loading, and it improves cattle safety when transporting. Kick the tires, make sure we got tire pressure, got good tires on these trailers, axles and bearings, all these need to be checked. And then we want to make sure that we're going to have proper ventilation. Ventilation during shipping is what helps prevent shipping stress. So we want to have a properly ventilated trailer so that we make sure that we don't have these animals in a system that they don't have good ventilation and prevent respiratory disease. And the last one is footing. Whether you have footing in that trailer that is the rubber footing, whether you have metal footing, make sure that you have proper footing in the trailer and footing that won't injure the cattle. Sometimes the best intentions have unintended consequences. But checking footing, when we come back, we're going to talk about how to load those animals on the trailer, and we're going to wrap up the show. Thanks for watching.
Now another gardening tip with Annette Jackson.
Now's the time to overseed your lawn. The success of your lawn depends on the quality you plant and the proper fertilizer. Plant 100% weed-free seed with top-rated varieties tested by KSU. Always use Fertilome New Lawn Starter for faster, stronger root development. Don't waste time and money with lower quality seed from the box stores.
Join the Jackson's Greenhouse WIBW Garden Club and save 10% on your lawn seed and Fertilome New Lawn Starter.
Meet the Veterinarian, brought to you by Zuprevo. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Dr. Randall Spare is president of Ashland Veterinary Clinic, the largest veterinary practice in southwest Kansas. He focuses on bovine care, especially cow-calf production, and at AABP in 2013, he received the award for developing an outstanding preventative medicine program for beef production. A graduate of K-State School of Veterinary Medicine, Dr. Spare and his wife Michelle have 5 children.
Tar Waters has what you need for all seasons for around the farm and home. Working, hunting, growing, feeding, snow removal, even fun for the kids. And a service department with experienced techs to help keep your equipment in top running condition. Tar Waters has a huge selection and the best prices. Tar Water Farm and Home, family owned and operated since 1978. They have what you need.
The BQA Tip of the Day, sponsored by Beringer Engelheim Vetmedica, Inc.
Hello, I'm Dr. Nels Lindberg with Animal Medical Center and Production Animal Consultation. Today, on our quick tip of the day, we want to talk about withdrawal times. I've got a question for you. I'm curious if you're following your withdrawal times, or if you've ever had FDA come visit you because you've had a residue pop up or they're looking for a residue. What happens when FDA shows up is they've had a residue pop up at the packing plant. And from there, they just work their way down the line trying to find out where that drug was given and who didn't obey the law and obey the withdrawal. So it's vitally important as a producer that you keep very accurate records, handwritten records, or computerized records so that every drug you give, you have the withdrawal established. Please don't send animals to the next producer or sale barn without making sure that they are off withdrawal.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We are having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. DocTalk, brought to you by the Kansas Association of Wheat Growers and the Kansas Wheat Commission. Together, we are Kansas Wheat.
Hi there, folks. Welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, where I'm a professor, and I'm the Jones Professor of Production Medicine and Epidemiology. And we're talking about transporting cattle, and it's a topic that's important to me. It's important to a lot of people. And it's especially important to the cattle that we're moving across this country, locally, from farm to farm, from pasture to pasture, and understanding things you need to do when you load these cattle and unload them. But we've gone over picking the right animals. We've looked at the loadout facility. We've looked at the trailer. Now we're going to talk about putting those animals on the trailer. One of the things when you put animals on the trailer is you'll make sure you don't overload the trailer. And there's two reasons for that. One is you got to make sure that you put the proper weight on the trailer that your trailer and truck can handle. Overloading can create accidents, and it can have some human safety implications. The other reason why we don't want to overload the trailer is because we don't want to wind up with animals getting hurt. And so when we have animals too tight, we can increase bruising, we can increase injuries, bumping, not intentionally, but just happens because animals are in close proximity and trying to stay up on the trailer. Another thing that's important is that we don't mix animals of small and bigger sizes. And one of the reasons for this is because if we have animals on the truck that are small with larger animals, they can go down underneath the larger animals and get trampled. So putting them in, sorting them before you put them on the truck, putting them in different compartments so that they stay away from each other is vitally important to the health and safety of the animals being transported. Market bulls and market cows, or cull bulls and cull cows, are shipped frequently. And when we load those animals, whether it's short hauls or long hauls, we want to make sure that we don't mix bulls and cows in the same compartments because of riding activity that can occur. And what will happen is that we can have cows being hurt from riding. Bulls can also be hurt during times of riding and slipping on the trailers. When you're driving down the road and you're loaded with animals, I know this makes perfect sense to people that have done it, but we don't want to start or stop suddenly. Easing into taking off from a stop sign or shutting down earlier to make sure that the animals don't lose their footing during transport is important. And another thing is making sure that you match the health and well-being of the cattle with the distance of the haul. The younger and the more fit the animal is, the longer haul it can withstand up to a point. So the yearling cattle and things to that nature, all this can be judged by shrink, which is based on the amount of weight loss during transport. And the last two things, understand heat stress and cold stress. Heat stress is more of an issue for cattle than cold stress is. But if we are looking at times of heat stress, we want to make sure that we keep the cattle rolling down the road, don't stop and let them overheat, and maybe we need to ship them at night. We sure appreciate you watching DocTalk. I hope you had a great show today. And remember, we always recommend that you work with a local veterinarian. And if you want to find out more about what I do here at Kansas State University, you can find us on the web at www.vet.ksu.edu. Thanks for watching DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson from the College of Veterinary Medicine, and I'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.